What's up, everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of Live With. Today, we're sitting down with our long-lost buddy here, Cam Toner, who we have not seen in a bit, but we are super excited to have Cam on tonight. Cam, man, we always love when you swing by. There's always fun stuff to check out. For anyone who doesn't know, this is going to be a behind-the-scenes look at the upcoming Peelers V4, which is such an evolution of the original deck that started all this off.
Yeah, I'm so excited to be on. This is one of my favorite things to do. So
Well,
I'm so
we
glad you
appreciate
guys
it, man. We love
like
having
having
you
me.
on.
We would pay you to
always
say
love
that.
having
Do we
you
pay him
on.
a lot to say that?
No, we
Okay.
you know what? We pay him in love. There you go.
Yeah.
So, you guys ready to jump into it?
Hell yeah.
Let's
Let's
do it.
do it.
Let's do it.
This might be Cam's first time with the intro too.
It is. I was
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Dude, I told you
like,
it's been a
like, the
while.
whole
It's
screen went, what?
it's been a while since we've had Cam on, dude. I'm telling you.
Jeez.
I love
I thought
that.
you were
I
just gonna
honestly,
like ask me a question.
oh, I'm like pulling things up here too. You can ignore that as I'm deleting overlays. The best part about all of this, though, is I love having Cam on because you can tell that we haven't had him on in a bit, but B, he always brings something fun with him. And so
Like a
today,
Boston hat.
like a Boston
Like
hat. I
a
actually did call him flat out
Boston
on that
hat.
in the beginning. I was like, Cam,
You did.
Yeah.
this is your first time since we've had you here. We know you're in Boston now, but is this
I
hat
am.
for real, or is this,
It
you
is.
know, buying into the culture? And it is, and I'm very proud to see that because I'm glad that we none of us ever thought Cam was a poser, so I wouldn't expect it. But I
Was
give
a
him little bit of
bandwagoner.
ribbing. Yeah, you know, and me being from Jersey, I'm more of a Yankees fan if I have to pick one, but. It happens, man. If I had liked Boston back in the day, I would have gotten beaten up. So
Hey, it's a crazy time here. I mean, we live down the street from Fenway, so like when the playoffs and stuff were happening with the wild card game with the Yankees, like it was an intense time around here. So
yeah, I'm
yeah,
sure.
it's super fun though. Boston is awesome.
It's a cool spot,
So-
that's for sure.
So
Yeah,
how's the settling in been for you? How's that kind of been with the transition of OPC to a new headquarters, we'll call it?
Tons of stuff, super cool. Like just the amount of card people that are on the East Coast is awesome. I've really gotten to connect with a lot of like local Boston magician groups, some local Boston cardists.
Nice.
Kevin Ho lives here, so
Yeah,
like
which
me and him have
I'm
gotten
jealous.
really close.
I'm jealous.
Like he's such a sweet guy.
Kevin is my second favorite Bostonian. Cam, now that you've moved there, you're my first. I'm just kidding.
That's okay. I don't live there anymore, so I can take
right.
that.
Yeah. it doesn't
If I
apply
moved
to
back,
me.
it'd be a different story.
Yeah, then I'd have to
Oh.
rearrange the order a little bit.
the
but-
order. Yeah, other than that though, like the apartment's all settled in. I know that it might offend some people, but we'd already decorated for Christmas before Thanksgiving, so we've got the Christmas vibes going on in here. We're very festive.
Nice.
It's different too because it's like it's half the space. So in my apartment in Indianapolis, I had like a whole room dedicated to like my office and equipment and OPC. Now I have like this little alcove because we're living like in the city. So it's been really different trying to like shoot photos and shoot trailers and stuff with such a small area to work with.
Yeah.
We've gotten done, and we've done a lot of shooting outside. But with that, there's also a lot more cool places to go shoot. We're not just
Yeah.
in cornfields all the time. Like
I love
Sean
it.
and I did our slow-mo running scene for the trailer, like right next to the Boston Museum of Fine Arts. It's like down the street. So like there's a lot of cool places to go and check out and like shoot around here.
There's
So,
a lot of cool alleyways too that you can shoot in.
oh yeah. Like it's like all of Boston is beautiful, and I'm just so excited. I know I moved here and I'm finally getting settled in when it's getting cold, but I really want to get to shooting in the spring and the summer.
Oh, it's gonna be beautiful,
So,
man. It's
yeah.
gonna be beautiful. I think next year too, once you're settled in and like fall comes back around too, because you'll get that like northeastern fall, you'll get the leaves changing and all that. I'm excited to see. I mean, I'm excited to see this deck today, but I'm also excited to see what your fall deck ends up being next year because this
Oh,
is gonna be that little Boston added value to the OPC brand is gonna be fun, man.
Heck yeah.
oh yeah.
So
I'm
Cam,
hoping to kind of be the community center here on the East Coast because I know
Nice.
that Zach and Fontaine have done a really good job making a community out in California and on the West Coast.
Yeah.
And then you've got, the Anyone European community out there. So I'm kind of hoping that we can, as OPC, can kind of be this big community like driver in the East Coast to like the Boston, New York area.
Yeah.
So
That'd be really. I mean, that's a great way to look at it. And you've already had your first kind of meetup. How did that play out?
it was crazy. I was expecting like 5 people to show up. Next thing I know, there's like 30 people, like
Nice.
ranging from like, teenagers to like there was even this really nice older gentleman that was there that had like just gotten into magic like over the pandemic. And
That's
it
really
was
cool.
Nice.
super, super cool. He was like learning all sorts of stuff from people and like he was super into cards. He had like this really pooped up like black bikes deck, and I was like, here you go. And he's like, well, I'm not gonna open these because like
Yeah, the
I
black
I
tigers,
don't want to. Yeah, or no, like black, like the black bicycle deck,
I
like
like
that you
that.
get in the
Yeah.
4-pack of
Oh,
like
yeah.
the 2 red and the 2 black.
Yeah.
And I was like, he was like fresh into it, and I'm like, it's just so cool that he made an effort to like be there. You know
That
what I
is
mean?
really cool.
So it was just super, super cool.
Nice, man.
That is fun.
That is really fun, and that's always nice to see that you're bringing in, a wide age range of people who are getting into the cards and the collecting and the cardistry or magic side of it.
Yeah, no, my biggest goal for OPC is to kind of like, for lack of a better term in my head right now, kind of be the gateway into like cardistry and
Yeah.
custom playing cards. Like I feel that we're similar, or like we're simple enough to where like it brings a lot of those people in, and then they're like, oh wait, there's brands like Dan and Dave, and there's brands like Dealer's Grip, and like all these other people that like have really intricate designs. If I like that, there's collectors decks like 52 and Joker and King's Wild Project and
Yep.
Steve with
Oh, thank
Visions.
you.
These are so cool.
Dude,
So
no doubt about that, and I think that's really a great way to look at it too. And like you said, having moved from the Midwest to the East Coast, you've kind of seen that there's a lot more accessibility here. So being even in Boston, people in the chat are saying, "Oh, we need that. I'm in New York City." Like,
yeah,
granted, New York and Boston aren't a stone's throw away, but it's a drivable distance for someone who's planning to do like a weekend event.
Yeah,
And
for
so I
sure.
think that's going to be really exciting because the East Coast really hasn't had that kind of organized community gathering aspects.
yeah. Whenever like it gets into spring time, I definitely want to take a train down to New York City. McKenna's never been. My fiance's never been to New York City.
What?
I got to go to New York City to shoot the Slicers trailer with Matt Fox like way back in the day, but like we were pretty much there on a mission to like get that like done. So I didn't get to like really sightsee when I was there. So I was also stranded at LaGuardia Airport for 3 days, but like that also
Well,
doesn't count.
I mean,
So
that sucks, but
That's New
that
York.
doesn't
That's New York
count.
for you.
yeah, no, it really is. But honestly, next time you're down for New York too, you'll have to let me know because I'll swing into the city for the day. Well, I'll grab lunch or something. But that's
Oh yeah.
part of the fun for you guys is, I think Steve and I probably take the East Coast for granted in the metropolitan aspects of it in New York and Boston and all the fun stuff you get to see and being able to, spend a day in a city and having to choose from 19 different museums to go to. That's not a problem many people consider. So
No.
I'm sure it's been great though, and I'm sure knowing you two and knowing how much inspiration you take from your surroundings, you guys have been trying to hit probably everything around you.
Yeah, it's been absolutely crazy. We've done all the touristy things other than go whale watching. They have
Nice.
whale watching
Have
here.
you done the swan boats?
Yep.
The duck
We did
tours?
that. We did the Boston Tea Party Museum. We've done the Museum of Science. We've done the aquarium here is really awesome.
You did
Nice.
Faneuil Hall, right?
Yep. Quincy Market, all that kind of stuff. I actually on the side give tours of the Freedom Trail too. So like I got all the knowledge up there.
Look
all
at
the history
you.
stuff,
Look at
so.
you buying wholesale into Boston. I love it.
Hey,
Absolutely love it.
I tour guided it while I was in college, so I was a college tour guide, and I really enjoyed the college I went to, and I really enjoy Boston, and like it's just something I can do on the side. It's like 2 or 3 hours of my morning, like a couple days a week sometimes. Like, it's kind of a no-brainer.
Have you
Yeah.
been to Jake Ivory's?
I have not.
Oh, dude, you got to go to Jake Ivory's. It's right down the street from your house. It's super fun. Just
Okay.
dueling pianos. Oh, dude, it's a
I think
I'm
I've
riot.
sure
seen
it
it. I
sounds
think I've seen it.
awesome, but like I
It-
just imagine Steve sitting there listening to dueling pianos.
Oh, dude, it's back in the day. I wouldn't do that shit now. I don't want to hang around with all those drunk people. But like,
Oh my
it's
god.
super fun. Like them going back and forth on each other.
Well, you know
Yeah.
what though? We're already 10 minutes in, which A means Steve's allowed to curse if
I
he
know.
wants, but B is also great because
Thank you
we're
so much, Mark.
thank you, Mark. We appreciate this support, man. We love you, buddy. But yeah,
Thanks,
you know what
Mark.
this
Hey.
means? I'm realizing as we're sitting here too, we've been talking so much 10 minutes about Cam. We're gonna have another Cam episode. But dude, the OG returns.
Yeah, sorry. The OG. The
The
OG.
OG
The whole
returns.
reason we're here.
I know,
The
right?
whole reason we're here.
And I
It
gotta
doesn't-
say,
His is better. His is better.
so I gotta say, like, first looking at this deck, seeing all the pictures, the metallic ink is always so tough to capture in photography, and I'm like,
It
oh
is.
man,
It's
like I
so
know
bad.
I know it's metallic, but it looks so much like the OG, but like an even better color.
That
You know?
dark blue is so
Ah.
nice.
It is such a clean look to it, and I gotta say, the metallic makes it. How excited were you to put this one together, man?
I was so excited. Again, like we talked with the Peelers V3 with the gold. That was the first time we'd ever done metallic. And in an Illustrator file, it straight up looks like the color that it is without the light being on it. So like all I saw was this dark blue color, and I'm like I'm sure it's gonna look great, but it's like you kind of just gotta like push it out there and be like, well, I see the metallic on this little swatch thing, and I can picture it, but having it in your hands is totally different.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, no, I mean,
and I think we went with enough of a different color.
the blue on the tuck is dope too. Oh, that's so different.
Dude, everything,
yeah.
yeah, you can tell there's a difference there, but I have to say, like, as much as the OG probably has that nostalgia aspect, this new blue is just gorgeous. It looks so much cleaner, you know?
And USPCC's metallic ink is.
Yeah, they really
top-notch.
do have
It's
a
so
top
good.
notch.
That's one
And
thing they do
so
really,
good.
really good is
Let's see if I
Right,
can get
yeah.
the
Say what you
angle.
want about
Yeah.
USPCC.
It's interesting too because
Me
even on the
without
camera,
you.
this almost looks like silver, but like this is such a beautiful blue on the tuck as well. It's a well put together deck, man. I gotta say, I'm always excited when you're coming out with new drops. I think you crushed it with the Carvers this year. I think you've had a great year, but this really harkens back to the original. And I think, you know, obviously V4, we've seen the V2s and the V3s. Everyone loved the gold when it came out, but this really ties back to that original V1 colorway of blue. And, you know, we were talking a little bit beforehand. You said, you know, this deck allowed you to do everything you originally wanted to do with the V1s, but couldn't at the time. What
Yes.
was that process? What was it kind of almost like fulfilling that long-standing dream?
Yeah, it felt really nice. When I got them, I was like, in my head, I'm like, this is the deck I don't want to put down. And it's hard because I got these before Carvers. Like we had submitted these before Carvers. So I've just had them forever.
Yeah.
Sean O came out and we filmed, and then like I literally couldn't put these down. Like all of Halloween, I'm like, I have to be using the Carvers because it's like it's Halloween, but I really wanted to be using these. And like I even have the original, like the OGO, if it even is gonna like, oh my gosh.
There you go. There you go.
Like that blue is, and just like the MPC, just like the banana's like all discolored, but like it's
The
pretty
banana's
similar
definitely
to
been
the blue.
upgraded really well. Let's see if I can get that to focus. It looks more banana colored now. This is not
Yeah.
there we go. Yeah,
Well,
like
no,
you can
'cause this
actually
is-
see the
this is the
contrast.
prototypes.
Yeah.
This is
That
the
looks like the
prototype of,
emoji
like,
colored
the original.
banana. Like that primary yellow that everyone knows a banana is not colored after.
Right. Well, we didn't even have faces when we printed the prototypes.
That's too funny.
Like we legit just had the back.
Prototypes
I've got
never-
it in like my makeshift Staples printed tuck box.
Nice.
I love it, man. This is to me,
But-
this is one of my favorite things about you with this deck too, because this really is like the progression deck. You can see where you started to where you are now on essentially what is the evolution of that original deck. Like this is not only, you know, the big brother of the OG peelers, this is the big brother of the V1 OPC deck.
Yeah. And it's so cool too, because like it's kind of harder to see it with other lines. For instance, like squeezers, it's like a whole new fruit.
Right.
Like it's still the same art, but it's a whole new fruit.
Yeah.
And it's a whole different colorway. When we originally did the Peelers V2, you know, we were thinking about doing a different fruit, but the whole story behind the original Peelers was that I heard a speech about the Cavendish banana going extinct, And I was like, that's crazy. I want to tell people about it because the original Cavendish banana is nothing like what we eat today, but it's still a Cavendish banana. So in my head, I'm like, peelers are going to be the only deck that we never truly change, like just the banana on the back, because I want it to be the same deck, but I want it to not be the same it was like back in the day to kind of fulfill that whole story arc of like why it started in the first place. And
cool.
I think that we're doing that, and like they just get better and better. Like I have no idea how we're gonna top this, which is
It'll be interesting to see. You know what you could do? You could do kind of like a brown one. It could be kind of be like a rotten banana.
Listen. I've been saying I told Zach Mueller, I said we should collab and they should be called plantains.
Oh my god,
that'd be dope.
And I'm like, and I put it out there, so I don't know. It's out in the universe. Maybe we'll make we'll do what's that one account that does like the
Troll decks
or whatever. Troll decks, yeah.
They have an
Maybe
interesting Fontaine parody coming out soon too.
Maybe.
They might want to fulfill their last one before they come out with a new one.
Yeah,
right.
we'll get there. Hopefully it's not the ultimate troll there, but dude, this is exciting though. And I mean, I think for you, what's that process like? Like, was this more exciting than planning out some of your previous decks, or was this on par? Are you pretty even keeled now when you start designing a new deck?
It's so weird because it's like one of the things when it's when you're going through and designing new decks, I weirdly thought that at one point I would like lose that feeling of like oh, we've made so many decks, like I've been here before, but like each new project brings with it its own set of excitement. For instance, with David Kohler and I developing this whole 3-step storyline through each of the last decks, like filming with Sean O here in Boston, and then like filming with Sean Arman for the Carvers. Like, I think what was more exciting to me about this deck was the story. Like, I love the cards, but the whole story of, this future Cam coming back and like almost destroying OPC, and then like having that whole futuristic theme to it, I think really takes like, oh, it's a new color, yay, to like this whole other level, because there's a reason and like there's a story. And when you see these on your shelf, you're not just like, oh yeah, they made a blue metallic version, cool. You're like, this guy, like his, you tell this whole story, and it's this whole little thing you just get to have for yourself. So like it's more of the story aspect now than it was before,
Yeah, and it's really cool because like when I first got the brick box, I looked on the back, and this is before I knew the story. I looked on the back and I was like, I don't get it,
Yep.
So it was cool to see, like, finally understand it, and then be like, oh, I get it now. It makes sense.
Right.
Really, really cool.
And so for you, I mean, we've really seen the evolution of the stories behind these. I remember like some of the original trailers. It's very heavily cardistry focused. There's still a storyline, but it was more on the cards and the music and the action. You've really taken that evolution, and I think probably one of the biggest, turning points there was probably when Grandpa Cam started to really arrive. How has your evolution of kind of the storytelling there grown from back in the day? Like, was that always something you knew you wanted in the brand, or has it really just grown with the brand as well?
It's definitely grown with the brand. Like, being a filmmaker, going to school for film, like, I think it was when I was able to really just focus on OPC. Like, I wasn't in school, I wasn't having, tests and other projects. I was really able to focus in on the storytelling. And I had no idea that Grandpa Cam was going to become this like iconic character of like this organic cinematic universe. And like the fact that we get to do that is awesome. The harsh reality in the card industry right now is that there's so many decks. And like that's a good and bad thing.
Yeah.
It's a good thing because there's all of these ideas out there, and there's all of these people that are getting to like do the thing, like make their dreams come true. Because that's what this was for me. Like having my own deck was like a dream of mine, and then like boom, it happened, and it's so cool that other people are getting to have that experience. But then on the other hand, there are so many decks that like good decks just get like swamped under all of these other decks that are coming out, like we have drops. The last drop with Carvers, 9 other companies dropped a deck on that day. Like, I was thankful that we sold out over half the stock we had, because that means people made us a priority.
Yeah.
People only have a certain budget to spend on cards, and now it's not, oh, what color is your deck, or what does the deck have on it. It's more so of like, how do these cards make me feel, and like, why, you have to go above and beyond. It's not just about the cards anymore. It has to be about how they make people feel, and like the memories that they're going to associate with that deck. Like, that's what you've got to do to maintain your priority, like being a priority in that person's budget in terms of cards.
Yeah, no, for sure. And you did very well, considering it's a specific time period deck, where it's like, it's a Halloween deck. Obviously you can still use it because it's a pumpkin, but it's a carved pumpkin. So it's definitely, if someone looks at it, they're like, clearly that's a Halloween deck. So the fact that it did that well, while there were so many other drops going on, just tells you that, your fans definitely support you. And I mean, it's always fun knowing that there's a drop coming from you.
Yeah. And that's what I try to, I try to bring that fun aspect. Like, for instance, our giveaway that we have on our Instagram right now, like, you don't just tag 3 people. It's like, tag 3 people, but also like, if you're going to time travel, what time period are you going to?
Yeah.
And like, it's just that extra step. That's like, I've seen so many cool comments of people being like, we're going to go to the year 3000, like the Jonas Brothers, or like people like saying different time periods and why. And then it just starts this whole conversation with like somebody that you might not have if, social media wasn't a thing.
So let's ask that question right now. Where would you go?
Oh, I kind of knew this was coming. It's so hard for me because with how much like technology and with being a filmmaker and having pretty much social media has started this thing that I love, I don't know if I would want to leave that and go like to the past. Like,
come on.
I listen. I don't know, dude, because like I have to have things to do constantly. And like, I can't even imagine just like sitting in my house, just like waiting for somebody to like come over to my house so I could talk to them. You know what I mean?
What
like,
if you brought your camera back to the past and you could film?
Okay, all right. Listen, like, I didn't know we were like that deep.
No, dude, you're the one who brought it deep. So where would you like to go? A time period? You could bring your camera, that's fine. But where would you like to go?
I think so hard. I think it would have to be like the I know it's like kind of cliche to say like the 1920s, but like the 1920s or even like the late 1800s, I think would be really cool. I'm a dork for Revolutionary War history as well, which like weird. And again, it's not that I just got into it because I moved to Boston. Like, it's been a thing that like, that's always been my favorite part of history class, was like Revolutionary War history. And like, I hope to go to like New York and Philadelphia and like see all of the like Revolutionary War, sites is like a big thing. We were actually thinking about that being our honeymoon at one point, was doing like a whole East Coast like trip like that. McKenna, my fiance's favorite movie is National Treasure. So that says anything about her. Nick Cage. Well, no, I'm saying you love Revolutionary War history.
Cam's in trouble. Cam's in trouble.
I thought you were judging her.
I totally judged her because of Nicolas Cage.
Oh yeah, you felt that judgment from over there. Steve was judging you hardcore.
I mean, I love McKenna, but Nick Cage, man.
Yeah, they're rebooting it. Maybe there might be a
they should reboot it. All right.
I don't think they're rebooting. I heard it's gonna be like a continuation now.
Good Lord. All right, Tyler. What period would you go to? Where would you go?
Where would I go? I don't know. Like, I'm selfish in my aspect there. Like, I'd be like, well, could you ever come back? That's the question.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I'd go to like 1970s and buy McDonald's stock and just leave it in a bank for myself, and then I'd roll back, and that would be it. Like, this is like, clearly I've thought about this. That was a very quick off the cuff answer there, but yeah, you go back, you buy Microsoft, you buy Google, you buy any of this stuff when it first comes out, and then you're like, all right, cool, I'm gonna go back home, and it's like Hot Tub Time Machine.
Yeah, right. I don't think it ended that way though.
When he creates, no, he does. Remember, the first one ends. He creates Lugal, he creates Lugal instead of Google.
Right.
So good.
You know what I would do? I would do the weirdest thing. I would go back and meet Jesus just to be like, bro, what's the deal?
Hold on. I could see this
Tell me the
interaction
truth,
going
bro.
down.
What's happening?
I could see this interaction going down. Steve just walks up to him. He's like, "Hey, I'm Steve," and he's like, "Hi, I'm Jesus." Steve would be like, "How you doing, bro?"
Bro,
To the end of it.
he'd
The end
probably
of
have a
it right
yarmulke on. I'd be like, my last name's Rosenfield. We're brothers.
there.
What's
Nice
the
to
deal?
meet you.
Tell me
Oh
the
my
truth.
God. Oh my God, I love it. I absolutely love it. Steve,
Anyway,
I'll buy you
speaking
some
of
Google
time
stock
machine,
too.
Yeah.
dude.
Speaking
look
of
at that
time
shimmer.
machines,
It is gorgeous. I gotta
it's so
say.
it's so bright.
So
It's
now,
again something that's hard to take photos of.
yes,
No.
yes.
Hard.
So now, what was the
Look at that
motivation
mirror.
behind this half brick box here?
So Steve kind of showed off the one side. It's actually the release date for the peelers. I wanted this to kind of reenact the time remote. So if you think, go back to the Golden Slicers trailer, this futuristic Cam is like extracting gold from the gold slicers, but you don't know why and you don't know what for, and you're just like lost. And then he like goes into this yellow portal and like disappears. And you're like, okay. And like on the TV, Caitlin Chen is like, oh, there's been like a break into like a high government facility or something. And you're kind of
Yeah.
like, so he stole something, but like what is it? And like why does he need the gold? And then fast forward to the Peelers trailer, and I wanted to give everybody like that final piece of the puzzle. And it's like it was a time remote. Because of course we figured that out because he like shows up and he's like, oh my gosh, Mike's, it closed like 10 years ago. And people are like, what? And then it's me from the future. So I wanted to give everyone like that last piece of the puzzle to like be able to have it on your shelf. And again, be like, oh my gosh, do you remember that like crazy storyline that they had at one point of like this?
Yeah.
So it kind of, it's like nice and shiny. But it also like, if you have it showing like this, people are going to be like, what is that? So
Now, some people, I mean, I think most people have seen the tuck box, right? But there's like a secret to the tuck box, isn't there?
there is a secret. Here, let me take Dex out of my half brick. If anybody likes the peelers, or not the peelers, the organic playing cards logo currently, on the inside of the half brick is that same artwork. We have a nice little quote there from one of my favorite movies. So
I'm doing surgery.
John
I'm
Mulaney
doing
would say it's
surgery
Back
here.
to the Past.
Yes.
But yeah,
Everyone
Back to
knows
the
this from
Future
Time
quote.
Cop. Come on.
Right.
I'm doing surgery here. Hold on. Okay.
Are you just gonna rip her open?
Fuck yeah.
Holy shit.
Oh yeah.
Look at that.
Oh yeah.
That is so dope, though. I gotta say, that is so dope. I honestly,
Yeah.
I love the new logo too, though. By the way,
Well, thank you. Yeah, I took the artwork and I put the OPC logo over it. I was like, this looks cool.
It looks
'cause
really
people
clean.
were freaking out for a minute,
Yeah.
which was intended. It was very
Yeah.
much intended. I wanted people to be like, is OPC ending? Oh my god. You know?
Oh my god, I
But then
love
I'm
it.
like, no.
You know, it
It's
looks
fine.
really clean. I think there's so much about this deck and the half brick and everything that just ties so cleanly together. And I love the fact that you had that continuation of the storyline there. This is just it shows the I don't want to say devious, but the mastermind aspects of Cam with all of these decks here. Because you know, at the end of the day, some people are gonna roll and they're gonna be like, okay, yeah, it's another deck, But there's this continuation. There's this whole storyline and this whole vibe that runs through the OPC narrative. And I love that, man. I love that it's not just about what's the next fruit we throw on the back of the deck. What colors do we pick? It's how do we build this story around the OPC universe?
I love
Yeah.
how all the brick boxes, like the half brick boxes from your brand, makes a puzzle.
Listen,
my God.
people, I'm telling you, Card Watch like reached out to us and they were like, so I heard the next, I think they were like, I heard that before we announced this, they were like, so I know that the next deck is Shuckers V2. And I was like, you do? I was like, well, whoever you got that from is wrong.
Oh my god, I love it.
And by the way, I've like leaked this deck at least 12 times. Like Peelers before, if you were really looking, like you knew what it was gonna be. Like I did it in the original Golden Slicers trailer. There's a whole video on Organic Playing Cards YouTube of like the breakdown of like all the trailers, and I show you guys where we put the Easter eggs so that you can like see it. A
Awesome.
lot of people missed the Peelers V4 one that was in the Slicers trailer. So yeah,
That's cool. I love how you give these little hints, back and forth
Yeah.
to different
people
aspects
just
of it.
like, I'm telling you, I put this box, like the blue metallic box, in like so many stories. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't even care. I'd see it and I'd be like, oh, people aren't gonna know.
Yeah.
They're gonna think it's a Peelers V1.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
yeah. I mean, from a distance, nobody would ever be able to tell.
Yeah.
and I just like blatantly throw it around, and people just don't. They just don't see it. It just goes right over. And
That's
I'll text
fun.
David and Caitlin and be like, "Look at what I just did." They're like, "You're an idiot."
You know what this means? This means everyone out there needs to start zooming in on every picture and double tapping it all to make sure you like it and then figure it all out.
Yeah.
So Lecantavis wanted to know when these are dropping. Justin said November 17th, but for anyone out there watching who's not reading the chat, for anyone who's watching after the fact, these are dropping November 17th. What time are they dropping, Cam? Around 1 p.m.?
1 p.m.
1
Yep.
p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And what is going to be the retail on these?
That is a very good question. I think it's gonna be a little bit less than the Carvers.
Okay.
Just because there's not the extra bag and
Nice.
all that assembly and stuff. So I'm thinking that the like early bird release price will probably be around like $8.95-ish, like our normal,
Yeah.
around that ballpark. The more you buy, the cheaper it gets, of course.
Love it.
So don't exactly quote me on that, because Kevin and I usually talk about that as the release gets closer, because I always forget.
I
But
gotta
yeah,
say
it should be
too,
around there.
there's some cat acrobatics that's been going on behind you, and I'm absolutely loving it. It was
Oh.
phenomenal. And I always love when you're on because cats are abounding when you're on. And Steve's over there just being like, cats.
It's even worse because
I just ignore him.
Even
I just
smaller.
ignore him now.
Steve's getting
apartment's
itchy
even
from the cats
smaller.
through the
I
camera.
know, right? I'm all itchy. I'm breaking out. Like, what's going on?
Oh my god, I love it. I love it. But dude, this is an exciting deck. I think this is an exciting kind of, I don't want to say it's like a return to the beginning, but like you said, the whole time travel aspect of it really fits so nicely with the idea of revisiting the origin story of OPC and what that means, and the fact that, like, again, it's not just a reprint of V1. It's not even a reprint of V1. There's so much different about this. This is a true evolution that we've seen go through the V1, the V2, the V3 iteration to land November 17th finally. And I gotta say, man, some of this deck is just mind-blowingly gorgeous. I think as much as it's not the focal point and as much as I love the back design color, I actually think the pink on the contrasting color might be what does it for me, dude, just because it's like a perfect like bubblegum pink. It fits so nicely with this deck.
Yeah, the colors look so good together. And I also want to another reason why we wanted to do the Peelers V4 is because we've gotten so many new people into our community. We've had a lot of people join our community from a lot of new sponsors that we've reached out to. Chris Ramsey also is freaking awesome and made the whole video with our carvers. So we always have people coming in from that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
the last time Peelers were available was like a year and a half ago.
It's been a while.
There were only 1,500 of them. So like a lot of people that are
7,000, right?
60.
Yeah.
7,000.
7,000.
Well, USPCC always prints like 500 over.
All right.
But
so 6,500 officially, but plus offset printing. For anyone who doesn't know why there's a little bit of an overage always or a potential under, Google offset printing.
Yes. But
AKA
yeah, so
there's never an under.
it's never an under.
There's never an under. They just want more money. Oh, we just happen to print 500 over.
Yeah. But yeah, and then those we do, I keep some and we give away some and all that kind of stuff. But technically, there will be 6,500 available on the 17th.
Nice.
But a lot of people in our community don't have a Peelers deck. The Peelers V1 are super sought after, super hard to find. Peelers V2, I don't see any of those anywhere.
I honestly
Peelers
don't think
V3
I've
are
seen a
expensive.
Peelers V2 in forever. Even in people posting or using, I feel like they got used so much they probably are mostly pooped out at this point.
Yeah. So I think it's really good to, with all of our new audience members, I want everyone to feel like they're a part of the OPC family. I don't want anybody to feel left out. There's always that fear of missing out. that I think a lot of other people in the card community can kind of feed on. And that's not what I want. I want everyone to feel like they belong and have a place and like are part of what we do here. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Thanks, man. So Rohit is in here and he just said, I won the story giveaway. I won 2 decks. Thanks a lot, OPC. So congrats to Rohit there. He said it's gonna be his
Nice,
first
congratulations.
OPC deck. So I think that's
Let's
actually
go.
that's what I'm really excited about too for you on this one, because this was your first OPC deck in the sense of the V1, but this is such
Yeah.
an opportunity for so many people to get into OPC with the peelers again. Like that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
As
Yeah,
I'm like
it's like
dropping
starting the whole
cards here.
train over again.
Right? And I think that's great though, because you've along the way learned so much and you've really grown. The brand has grown. You've grown with it. The story's grown. This is going to be such a blast, man.
Yeah, if anybody thinks that like because here's the thing, there's a lot of people that reach out to us because I feel like we're one of the only companies that like talks to people in terms of advice on like making decks.
Yeah.
Because like I'll legit say, hey, like email me a list of questions and I'll answer it. A lot of people think that card companies start by just like having this cool deck design and it being perfect, and then they just like they like ascend, right? But it's not how it is. Like I could go back through a bunch of our past decks and show you a ton of like tiny little mistakes that we missed or like I didn't know was a thing, or like, you know, just a bunch of stuff like that to where you know, you can see, oh, like these guys weren't perfect when they did it either, you know? So, you know, now things are more, you know, refined and streamlined and we don't miss those types of things, but like it happens, you know? And like it's kind of built up to this point where we've gotten there. But I mean, how many decks have we printed? Like, I don't even know, like 15 or 16. Like it takes a while, you know?
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
for sure.
Dude,
Especially now.
it's a process. It's a process.
Yeah, that's for sure.
And I think one of the big things too, like you said, you know, it's not just very few people come to the table with a banger of a deck. And I think more and more decks come to market, the harder it is even for great decks to immediately succeed. Because like you said earlier, people have limited disposable income. And so if you can only afford to buy 10 decks a year and you buy all 10 decks in the first 6 months because they're just that great, the best of best decks could come out in the second half of the year. And many people are just going to sit on it and lose out on it. And it's just kind of how it goes. And the artwork tells a great, you know, the artwork isn't the only thing that sells a deck. I think that's the biggest part of it is, you know, you can have a great deck. I think many people would call OPC a very minimalist deck in its
Yeah.
design elements. And I think that's what part of what makes it great, especially for cardistry. But there's so much more to OPC than just the deck. Obviously, there's the interactive parts you do with it. So like this is actually the 6th deck for the second passport, which means that a new exotic deck is going to be coming out soon. There's the garden hangouts still going on, which allows people to build that community around magic or cardistry or collecting or whatever it may be there. So all of these elements have attributed to the success of OPC. On their own, each of those may not have moved the needle itself, but to put them all together, you've seen this successful brand grow.
Yeah, I think, and it's something that like you can't just make banger decks. Like you have to care about the community that supports you. And that's
Yes.
like one of the biggest things I want to make sure that I always do. Which is why we do the hangout groups. Why we do like every launch, we do like a Kahoot where like we post a Google Meet link and everyone comes to hang out for like an hour. And we do this like quiz that you can do on your phone, and like the top 3 places get like decks. And it's just a fun time. And it's not like they're questions like some of them are about the deck, like, oh, how many are printed and that kind of stuff. But like it's like, where do most bananas come from? And it's like, what? Like there was this girl that was so like she wanted to win so bad she had like a study sheet of like facts about like each fruit that we had ever done. Like straight up, like she straight up showed us this like study sheet. And I'm like, we're taking away from your like actual studies. Like, yeah, it's a time. Oh no,
dude, I love it. Absolutely love it.
It's one of those things where it's like, it's, I don't know. It's one of the things where you have to, you know, be part of the community that you're trying to sell to. And it's
100%.
it's hard. It's a lot of work. Like, answering DMs all day can get exhausting. But yeah, like it's one of the things where it's very rewarding, and there's like a lot of people that I think join the card community because of OPC, which like makes me happy because like I just want to share that passion with like everyone else, you know?
Yeah. And that's what it comes down to. That passion has to translate through to the brand itself. We had an interesting question that came in earlier from Erica. Important question of the day: does the deck smell like bananas? So I don't know. So Erica is relatively new to the playing card community as well. So I don't know if she's familiar with the. There we go. For
Thank you.
yes, you're welcome. Erica is newer to the community, so she hasn't necessarily seen all of the OPC decks. So that may just be because she wants to know if a banana deck smells like bananas. But at the end of the day, there have been OPC decks that have smelled, some to better success than others. This is usually not one of them. I think some people would be like, oh, thank you. Others probably want to see what banana smells like. But out of that aside, no, it doesn't smell like bananas. What's your favorite part about the deck, though, Cam? The lack of smell?
The lack of smell, yeah. I think my favorite part of the deck is in terms of the peelers court colorways. I always just thought that like the combination of colors where they were on the peelers V1 courts, like where the turquoise and where the pink is, was honestly my favorite. And like looking back at the peelers V2, I didn't like it when I switched them as much, but I wanted it to be different back then. And I had limited design experience. But in this deck, we were able to recreate that with the metallic blue and the metallic pink. And nice. I think that colorway with the yellow and the black where it is just looks so clean. Yeah. And like it looks nice together where all those colors go. And we haven't done that in a peelers since. So it's one of those things where I would have to say it's one of my favorite parts of the deck. And a lot of people love, I love doing Magic with this deck too, because a lot of people enjoy the bananas, of course. But yeah, I'd have to say that like the court like layout is probably my favorite like ever.
Nice.
Yeah, so, they're nice colors. I like that pink and the blue.
But yeah, let me see it. We can get like a side by side here if my camera wants to like do the thing. But yeah, this is the prototype to V1 to V4. So all sorts of different shades there. So, but yeah, it's crazy also just to think that it's like we've come to this point as well. So to have multiple of one deck.
Nice.
So, but yeah.
That's cool. It's cool to see them like in line, the 3 decks.
I need to do more photos. That's like my big project over the winter. Because like this is our last deck of the year plus mystery bag sometime in early December. So that's not happening on Black Friday. It's happening in like early December-ish. But that's my goal for the beginning of the year. USPCC is so backed up that like it's going to take 5 ever to get anything done. Yep. So the first couple months of the year, we're not going to have a deck. But what I want to do instead is I want to take more photos of all the decks together, which is something we used to do a lot of because of like just how the colors all complemented each other. I really want to get back into that, as well as kind of reintroducing all of these new community members to like the OPC team. We've had a lot of changes. Alexis, I want to get her more in the spotlight because she's freaking awesome.
We definitely need to. She does awesome work.
Yep.
Awesome work. She's actually going on the retreat to Toronto in February sometime, so you start seeing her in some content, hopefully.
Nice.
David Kohler, who is DK Magician, is literally like the best addition to our brand, I think, ever.
I love DK. Dave's awesome. He's such a good dude.
David has just like I tell David all the time how grateful I am for him, not just as a friend, but like as just being a partner in like this brand with me, helping me figure out the storylines and like really diving deep into film with me and like shooting the trailers with me. Like it's one of those things where it's like I couldn't ask for like a better friend or like a better person to like be in it with me, as well as Caitlin Chen is like the same area as David. Like she helps with all the coots, always messaging them about decks and about deck designs, and it's really nice to have this like support group. So I want to introduce more people to Caitlin, to the OPC hangout groups, I want to introduce, a lot of people don't know that Kevin Yu even like exists. He's so behind the scenes. I want people to know that like he's part of the team, that he's like in it,
Yeah.
So I think that that's what I'm going to really focus on the first couple months of this next year, is like reintroducing people to the OPC team,
Nice.
because I feel that one, people don't know that there are new people a part of OPC, and that we're a different company than we were a few years ago,
Yeah.
with a different cast of
Yeah.
people. So
And a great cast
Yeah.
of people, honestly, and people
Yeah.
who deserve to be seen. Because I do have to say, I feel like you have several people who like to live behind the scenes, but getting them out there and making sure that people do know them and can show that gratitude, I think is
Yeah.
key, because they deserve it. No question about it.
Yeah, one of the biggest people is Lewis. He is, I think, Gunther Rolf on Instagram. He takes care of all of our Discord.
Yeah.
Like, I started the Discord as like a, hey, I know that a lot of gamers use this, but a lot of communities use this too to like stay in touch. And there's like these channels I can make. And then Lewis was like, hey, I'm a coder. Like, I go to school for this kind of stuff. Can I make like an OPC bot that will play poker with you? And I'm like, sure, dude. I was like,
Cool.
go for it. Next thing I know, this Discord's like a full length of a football field. We've got different channels for all the different hangout groups. We've got channels for like random facts. We've got channels for card collecting. We have an OPC market where people can trade with each other or sell decks to each other. Like, it's so cool and so awesome. We almost have like 1,000 members as well in our Discord, which is crazy. Like that amount of people is in a Discord together. So yeah, he's literally like a godsend. And I really want people to know who he is too, as well. Which I also think the community deck that we've announced is going to be a good place for a lot of those people to shine. So
Nice, man.
Awesome. Well, dude,
And so
go ahead.
I was gonna say, question came in from Joel real quick here. Have you ever thought about doing an OPC subscription and also Kiwi?
OPC subscription. I've always like the whole subscription thing is interesting. Because I don't know if like that's like a thing people would want to do. I know people do it with like, I do like Dollar Shave Club like subscription.
Yeah.
But like I know people do like wine or whiskey subscriptions and that, where you just get sent a random bottle of this, I just don't know if OPC in terms of our market, if that's like if it fits together. But it's something to think about. Kiwis, I would love to do Kiwis, but I don't know if the outside of a Kiwi is like very usable for like a deck.
I feel like we've had this discussion before.
Yeah, somebody used it on a deck and it didn't look like a Kiwi.
Yeah.
Yes.
But you can do it sliced open, dude.
Yeah, but then I don't know, man. It's just
it'll work. You just got to slice it and just put the brown side on the front rather than the whole brown on the back.
The brown side.
Oh my god.
You just got to put the Kiwi cut open. That would be perfect.
Yeah.
Kind of like you do with the grapefruit.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it'll work. We don't need an OPC ball deck.
My god.
No, we don't.
Fuzzy tuck, Joel said.
Fuzzy tuck.
No, definitely not. On that note, does anybody have any last minute?
Oh my god.
Steve said, all right, let's wrap this up.
For anyone who didn't hear it, this is going to be dropping the 17th at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time at riffleshuffle.com. Make sure to check out that dope half brick box there. They're also going to be seeing a first launch sale available. Cam, are these going to be available first come, first serve to the, what's it called?
OPC Hangout group? It'll be like, do what?
Are they going to be available to the OPC Hangout groups first?
Yep. So if you're in an OPC Hangout group, if you've been active in an OPC Hangout group, or if you've just been really active in our Discord as well, Lewis has made it to where you get access to a channel in our Discord that has the link that's early. We finally were able to get it hidden on the website, so now people can't just like look for it, which is really nice. But yeah, so now that we're able to do that, it's very exclusive to the OPC Hangout group. So if you want to join an OPC Hangout group, go to organicplayingcards.com and sign up.
Nice.
Do it.
I honestly recommend everyone check them out. I think they're very, very They're very worthwhile. You meet some great people within the community. You may even meet some people who are close to your area who you can actually get together and jam with in person. I'm also really excited to see, though, what Boston is going to hold for OPC next year, because I think we may see some fun in-person events that continue along. Who knows, maybe even some in-person drops.
Oh yeah, I would love. I mean, I had carvers there to sell,
Yeah.
but I definitely want to have like more so of the it'll be sold first in person and then be sold online like later. So it's more advantageous for people that want the deck early to come and get it.
Yeah.
Dude.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, we're excited.
So for everyone, keep an eye out. And you know what? I'm going to end this with Paul says, keep the hairy part in the back. And everyone, thank you so
Yep.
much for coming out tonight to check out the Peelers V4, which absolutely loving them. Cam, I think you crushed it with this one, man. This is a beautiful, beautiful deck. And honestly, pays well-deserved homage to the V1, man. I think you crushed it.
Definitely.
So,
Everybody,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much.
thank you so much, everyone. Make
Thank
sure to
you,
head out to
Cam.
riffleshuffle.com next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to pick up your Peelers V4. Also, while you're at it, make sure to follow Organic Playing Cards on Instagram. The links are down in the description below. We love you all. Thank you so much for coming out. Cam, we love you too, buddy. Thank you for coming out. And everybody,
Hey, if you guys are
enjoy.
watching this too on YouTube, hey, hold on. You make sure to like this video.
Yes,
You make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel and ring that freaking bell if you want to know when they're live or they post videos.
absolutely.
Exactly.
I never forget my job, Tyler.
We forgot
Come
our
on,
job
dude.
tonight. We were so excited to see you, man. It's been so long. We forgot what we were doing. Thank you so much,
Listen,
everyone.
I
We
got
love
you.
you all. Thank you, Cam. We love you, buddy. Everyone out there, enjoy your Wednesday night, and we will see you tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for a live episode of Top 3. Make sure to tune in.
Peace.